Yeah, I'm back for more commentary paint things or whatnot that I'm gonna rename this series because they're different from normal speed paints. But you guys seem to really enjoy these, so I thought, why not start doing more of these? Because you know what, I have a lot of characters, most of which are not actually Steven Universe related, but I've been meaning to put more non-Steven Universe related stuff on this channel anyway. Not that I don't like Steven Universe, I love Steven Universe, and I love my gem characters and all that fun stuff, but I do want to talk more about and do more drawings of my original characters from my original stories and stuff, because I really like those ones. I think are far more, they're really, I don't want to say interesting because I don't want to assume you guys are going to find it interesting, but I can talk so much about them, and hence why I'm actually starting with doing this. This is probably arguably one of my more quote-unquote popular stories, I guess. It's an original story. I say that with quotes because, to be honest, I haven't posted much about other stories. I have like 2 or 3 other stories that I have like developed, and I'm gonna make stuff for it, but I haven't posted anything because I don't really want to spoil anything and whatnot. But I wanted to talk about this kind of, and I thought that maybe the best way was to do some like painted portraits of as many characters as I could try and do until I got bored, or till I just kind of gave up or moved on to different things. But you know, I thought this might be good for 2 reasons. Not only can I just talk about the characters, but I can also practice painting and practice doing a bit more realism, because I wanted to add a little bit more realism to these drawings than with most of my other art, because when I paint, I'm typically a bit more realistic with my shading and stuff anyway, but anyway, I digress, I guess. But yeah, I think for this one, I'm not going to talk too much about the plot for the story, and I don't know how much of the plot I'm going to talk for other ones either. This is more going to be about what the whole idea was and some fun stuff about it, so I don't know, I hope you enjoy my ramblings. But this character here you see before you is the main protagonist of a story that I've just been calling the Lunaverse, because I don't really have a better name for it. And the name will most likely change one day if I ever make a official comic or story, etc. of this. The name will most likely change, but for now I'm just calling it the Lunaverse because it kind of makes sense in what it is, but I don't know, we'll just have to see. But anyway, this is Luna Evergreen. Hence why the name of the universe is the Lunaverse, because she's the main protagonist, etc, etc. And she's, her original design I bought was the first adoptable I ever bought. I had characters before her, of course, but it was the first adoptable design I bought. And if you watch me on DA, you probably know that I'm a rather fan of adoptables. I think they're really cool, and I know some people really don't like them. And I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't like the flipping dress-up game adoptables. I think those are kind of dumb for the most part. But I mean, I do like adoptables, and I have quite a few. In fact, this story in particular, out of the main 10, about 8.5 of them, or really 7.5 of them, were all adoptable designs. I say a half because one of them was technically designed by me, but his design is based on another character whom wasn't adoptable, so he's kind of half and half there. But anyways, so Luna here is the lovely protagonist, and if you couldn't tell by the really deadpan, disappointed look she's giving you, and because I've drawn a picture of her in the way back towards the beginning of my YouTube career, I had a drawing of her. She's kind of one of those typical, like, really super introverted, doesn't like people kind of character. And she's actually a gamer, kind of. That's what I want for. I don't really know why I chose it. Just seems something really fitting. She just likes video games and all that kind of stuff. In the world she's in, she technically has her own YouTube channel, actually. So, yeah. I don't know. It seemed like a funny little thing to add at the time, but something important about her is that she's actually a human, fully human, 100% normal. Why is this important? Because in the story, unless you're counting the side characters, then all of the really, really important characters, like the ones that are there for a majority of the story, are either not fully human or not even human at all. And so she's like, not only is she kind of like the weird outcast of most of just her social life because she doesn't like people, she really hates them, honestly. It's not even just a matter of her being socially awkward, she's edgy, she hates people. She thinks a lot of them are idiots. She particularly hates her sister. Her sister Abigail, oh boy, she despises her sister. To put it simply, her sister's older than her. She's kind of like a basic white kind of girl, and she is a rising pop star, and literally probably the only conversation Abigail will ever start with Luna is, "So, you got a boyfriend yet?" And Luna just isn't interested in dating at all, so you can see how this would get annoying really fast. But I digress. But so not only is she kind of put out as kind of like an outsider of just kind of normal people because she doesn't like most people, and even some people who you consider her close enough to be friends, she still doesn't like. She doesn't have a whole lot of trust in them. She's a loner and she likes it that way. But not only is she, the oddball in normal society, she's also the oddball with a bunch of, non-human people, because they're all quote-unquote special while she's over here like, I'm just a normal human. This is interesting. But I should probably explain the basics of the story, though. What basically happens is that although Luna hates most people, she had a really close relationship with her grandmother, whom most of her family just sort of said, wow, that lady is crazy. But Luna, on the other hand, found her quite entertaining and had a very close relationship with her grandmother. And of course, in the beginning of the story, you find out her grandmother died. And so that was all sad, and everyone went to their funeral, woohoo, and why am I woohooing? That's kind of dark, but they go to her funeral, and Luna, this 18 to 19-year-old girl who's looking for a place to stay currently, is in her grandmother's will, is given a mansion that her grandmother has owned for almost her whole life. And it's just out in the woods, and this takes place in Washington, the state. And she basically just goes out, she's given this mansion, and now it's hers, and it's large and whatever, and she doesn't actually know why her grandmother bothered to give her a mansion. The only thing she knows is that her grandmother left her a note that said, you're going to need it. And that's probably the most important line in the entire story, because Luna doesn't realize what that means. She just thinks that my grandma was crazy anyway, so, not surprising. But soon she figures out exactly why she needed it, because she ends up getting 9 roommates. 9 roommates that have special powers, mind you. Or no, they technically don't all have special powers, but they're all inhumans that can't really live anywhere else for the most part. Well, some of them can, but, she ends up letting them stay because first she meets one and they're just kind of a half human, half elf, so it's not as weird, I guess, quote unquote. But basically that was a warm-up, because soon everybody else comes and it just gets weirder and weirder as it goes. And if I could explain it all, oh boy, you'll meet them, hopefully. Hopefully I can get at least all 10 of the main characters, if not more of the side characters and stuff like that. But it's quite an adventure, and basically the entire idea is that the main plot at the beginning is just having to live together in this house, all of them being totally different. So there's lots of conflicts, and some of them hate each other, some of them love each other. 3 of them are technically villains, because they have very villain-esque personalities, and they created the bad guy squad, which if you look at my Deviantart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, so the story is rather complicated, honestly, so I couldn't really explain it all here, but Luna's, of course, our lovely protagonist, whom, honestly, despite having to live in a world with a bunch of roommates that are extremely weird, she very easily learns how to deal with it, which is shocking, and part of that just kind of comes from okay, this is my life now. And, you know, and it's just, I don't know. I think probably you guys hearing this now, it might not sound that interesting and it might sound kind of dumb, I guess, but I mean, I am hopefully going to do more of these, and as I introduce more characters to you, I'm going to explain more, and maybe it'll be more interesting to you as time goes on. But anyway, this is Luna. She's the lovely protagonist of the Lunaverse, and yeah, honestly, I love her a lot. She's pretty fun. I have lots of artwork of her, and it's pretty great. So yeah, that's all I got for this one. Hopefully I can come up with more of these, and tell me if you find this story interesting, or, you know, even if you want to, maybe ask, like, maybe while I do this, probably not now because I'm sure you don't really have that many questions, but I don't know, maybe as time goes on and you learn more, you can ask me specific things you want to know, and I can see if I can talk about it. Maybe it'll make these a bit more coherent than rather just me rambling for 11 minutes, you know? Because for some reason, all of these end at 11 minutes. I don't know why. Why do I have to ramble for 11 minutes? I don't know. How do you sit here and listen to all this? Jeez. But anyway, that's all I got for now. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint a little bit and hearing me ramble, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that is. I actually have spring break coming out soon, so maybe I'll finally get another review, because a lot of you have been asking for reviews, and I keep being lazy and procrastinating, so maybe I'll finally make another review and you all can be happy. Yay. But until then, see you next time. Hope you enjoyed. Zodiac out.